Hi everyone, I would love to welcome my second guest on the Live Life with Nepthach podcast where I showcase real people in our society who are going out there and facing fear, dealing with challenges and pursuing their passion. Please welcome Ramya, who is a career coach on LinkedIn, and it's something that she's happy to get up day in and day out and making this opportunity work for her. You're my second guest. Um,
Honored.
welcome. Can you
Thank you.
please, can you please introduce yourself a bit about your background and where you come from?
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. My pleasure. I'm Ramya and I'm originally from Singapore. So I grew up a little bit in Malaysia and then we moved to Singapore. So my dad was working in the oil and gas industry. And I recently moved to Melbourne in September last year. And my husband is Australian, so I moved in here after my marriage, and it's been incredible. I mean, 1 year of being in Melbourne and enjoying it. And I would say that before I became a coach, I was actually in recruitment. And to be very honest, I guess I came in from a very middle class family, and it was a typical, study well, be a good person, and once you study and graduate and get a good job, and then you can do this, and it's like a very typical linear path kind of thing. So I guess for a long time in my life, I guess I was really stressing myself, like if I don't hit certain milestones within a certain time period, maybe I'm a failure or something is just wrong. And that was just pushing me to work harder and harder, but I wasn't exactly happy. So I guess that was probably the starting point of why I decided to go into coaching, and that's where I am in right now. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. That's I quite like that. Like most of us will go through that when you feel like society, we have to do certain things, follow a linear path to accept what others want from us, and then we feel like we haven't actually achieved anything that we want to do. So I'm glad that you decided to doing something for yourself when it comes to doing your coaching. Which it's a really wonderful path to do that. What happened to you at this stage? Like you said, you're already done through that. So what's really, besides like going through the motions, what's really like in your life that what made you do that? What certain stages that you say I had enough? Is something? Can you recall some parts of life that you look back on? I'm glad I've done that in a way.
Yeah, so I guess I was always on a search to do something different, but I couldn't actually put my finger on it. I think it's that feeling like I knew that I wanted to achieve something. I wanted to actually make a positive impact, and this was in line with my upbringing as well. So my parents, they always told us that, okay, study well, study hard, be a good human being, do something that's meaningful, and etc. But I guess I was actually, when it came to my career planning, I was trying out different things. But when I graduated, I went into banking because my bachelor's degree was in banking and finance. But I wasn't really happy in the banking industry. So I actually moved out of banking. I think within a year, I couldn't take it because the environment and everything was totally not, a fit to my personality,
Yeah.
and the other way around as well. So I got into insurance sales, and that was completely different from what I was doing in banking operations, which was like back end. And now I was out there in the front, actually selling insurance solutions and insurance products to random strangers even. And it was pretty exciting, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to be doing insurance like the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So, but that was a really good starting point because growing up, I was an introvert. I was actually a really painfully shy person. I
Yeah.
was very quiet. And when it comes to selling, you just go out of your comfort zone, and it really pushes you out of your comfort zone, and you
Yeah.
start doing things that normally otherwise you wouldn't, like for
Yeah.
example picking up the phone and making a
Mm.
cold call
Yeah.
to someone. And that was I think my very first opportunity where I met rejections like
Mm.
head on, you know, and doors were slammed on my
Yeah.
face.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. But looking back, I think that was a really good learning opportunity for me, and one that I'm really thankful for.
Yeah.
So although I don't get to do insurance anymore, and it's not something that I would actually be doing for the rest of my life, I think it proved to be the foundation for what I wanted to do later on. And then, of course, I moved into recruitment and I started working with people and working closely with them when it comes to career decisions. And I saw a lot of things and I learned a lot of things. And I think that's ultimately, I think, really what inspired me to take on this path. But I think the turning point really came for me with my dad's passing like 2 years ago. And it really impacted me in the sense that I asked myself the question of when my dad passed away at the wake, a lot of his friends, a lot of people known to him, they were coming in and paying their last respects, and they were just saying about how wonderful my dad was and the kind of impact that he actually made on their lives. And it actually got me thinking that when life is like so short and it's so fragile, and when someone actually leaves this world in their physical body, I think it makes you wonder, like, what kind of legacy can you leave behind? And obviously, I think for me, it just dawned on me at that point in time that I can't continue to do something that I wouldn't be interested to do or I wouldn't be passionate to do. And it's not fitting in with my overarching purpose. So it really got me thinking. And I guess that was my catalyst for my career coaching journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I resonate with you there. Like when we see someone passes away and you
Yeah.
wonder what kind of things can you leave behind. So that means you kind of like rethink your life a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I know my dad. If I look at my dad, he's passed away. It's like he hasn't done anything that significantly changed people's lives. There's so many people out there that if you have the skills, the mindset, you can help other people, improve their lives, whether it's better career coach or just health and well-being. It's actually you're leaving something, you're doing something way more than for yourself, so you're having a purpose there. Yeah, I kind of like the way you when it comes to rejections. I think what you say, sales is probably, if you really want to grow some grit and grind, I reckon sales would be the job. I don't think I can handle that, like having that
Yeah.
fear of rejection so
Yeah.
many times, even though I run my own business. But just having cold people around, I don't do much cold calling. I rely on SEO and AdWords, but it's just that fear of rejection. It really gets to me, but
Yeah.
able to use that as a strength and continue to push forward. That's definitely a really good
Yeah.
skills to have for sure. Um, so, so in your life, like, have is there certain times that you did help somebody, whether it's through your coaching, etc., that you do make that really, really like prominent changes that you help them move forward, make their life a bit better? How does it feel for you? What is the I'd love to hear your thoughts about how does it, what's your feeling when you do help somebody?
Yeah, definitely. I think firstly, I feel like I've been, when it comes to being a part of someone's journey, I think it's with gratitude that I actually feel from the bottom of my heart. And I just feel really thankful to have been a part of their journey and to have played a part in one way or another and in supporting them. And it is with a lot of fulfillment, I guess. I feel really fulfilled and blessed to be a part of their journey, and of course be really excited as well. So I think part of the thing about being a coach is that we don't always offer the solutions all the time, and it's not about handing out the solutions. It's really about letting people know that the solution is always inside you. It's just, waiting to be perhaps guided to the right direction. And it's really about helping someone feel empowered enough to make the right decisions that lead to the solutions that they're looking at. And it's always in them. So that's something that I feel really happy and joyful when I think about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that's definitely one thing that I've learned a few months ago when I got into want to learn a bit about life coaching as well. Is that it's not about, like you said, it's not about having just having a session and then giving them your solution how you do things. It's yeah, it's amazing just sitting there and just
Yeah.
listening to the story and just asking them the right questions, that everybody has their own answers that they need to, like, so, oh, boom, that's how I do it, and just keeping them really, yeah, accountable. And you also, last time I talked to you, said like it's just not about we're helping them, but in return, that it's amazing the people that we met on the journey, they also help us grow as well.
Yep.
Whatever solution that they came out of themselves, you're kind of like, okay, I can use something like that as well, which is really, really, really cool. I quite
Yeah.
like that. So it's really, I think it's a growing industry. I've
Yeah.
been I've been seeing a lot of that on LinkedIn, and people saying, like online or one-on-one coach, whatever it is, what people wants to change, people wants to become a better version. I think we're at a stage where we don't want to be, we want to be better. We're sick of being
Yeah.
doing like 9 to 5 kind of thing. I
Yeah.
think we realize that now.
Yeah.
There's something better out there. We don't.
Exactly.
It's not like the '80s. we have to get a job. We have to get
Yeah.
married. We have to get a house at 20. Have kids at 22.
Yeah.
That's out the door. It's a different ball game now,
Yeah.
digital and everything. So yeah, I think you're definitely in the right path of helping those people
Yeah.
getting the right directions there.
Thank you.
Which do you feel like so far? You have the pressure of, like, you feel like you're not doing enough? Do you feel like you have a certain point that you think of giving up? You have self-doubt, failure. What do you manage? How do you tell yourself? How do you get through that kind of stages?
Yeah, so I frequently share about imposter syndrome, or the whole self-doubt syndrome, and I feel that personally, I think for a lot of people of color backgrounds, or those from like underrepresented minority ethnic groups, we do go through periods of self-doubt, perhaps even higher than anyone else, because firstly, we do stand out in a bunch of people, and we have had to work like extra harder sometimes to really prove our worth. So what happens is that when opportunities are sometimes not provided, or you just feel like you have to put in extra effort to shine, there are moments of self-doubt that creep in, and it has actually happened to me before. So I feel that what has actually helped me to overcome those feelings of imposter syndrome and to stay motivated throughout is because, firstly, I think surrounding myself with people who are positive and people who actually walk the talk, and they are a positive source of inspiration for me. I think that's been a very incredible game changer for me. And it's really helped me to shift my perspective as well, because my coach, my business mentor that I'm working with, and the community that I'm in, they're all entrepreneurs as well. We're all coaches, and helping out each other, supporting each other in our journeys. And I think every single person out there has got their own unique journey. And I think along the way, there are days when you feel like you're top of the world, you're like winning. And there are days when you feel like a loser or a failure or something. And I think it's normal, to go through ups and downs. I mean, I'll be lying if I said that I'm 1000% happy every single day. I mean, there are days when I feel maybe a little tired, or maybe I feel like, oh no, am I doing it correctly? Am I really on the right track? And then that's when I take a step back, I pause, I reflect, and I talk to my people, like, talk to the people in my community, and ask them for advice, or simply just recharge myself. So I think I would prefer to see this as a journey rather than, a destination that I have to reach. And that's really what stressed me out before. I have to do certain things by a certain timeline. I have to have everything sorted out. But yeah, life always has different plans, So sometimes I think it's good to go with the flow and just enjoy the journey, enjoy the ride. Yeah.
Yeah, I like what you're saying. Like, is nobody like happy all the time. You're gonna have ups and downs.
Yep.
But just when you say go with the flow, it's just also it's kind of like for me. Kind of like I like that what you said. Like, you just don't know what life throws at you, because you can't have a certain set concrete kind of plan, and then things and life throws you a curveball, for example, obstacles in your way. But that's kind of like like you said, that makes you think, stop, what's going on? Is there maybe it should be a direction? Maybe I need to think about, maybe I need to go a different direction and find different alternatives and stuff like that. So it's kind of like, if you see it as that kind of way, I think then you realize that it's there for a reason. So I quite it's yeah, it's good to definitely step back and really look into that. Most people don't. They think like, oh, this is, it's obstacles. This is it. This is the end of me kind of thing, and they give up.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's a journey. Like,
Yeah.
nothing's great coming out of smooth sailing. Just kind of like gotta keep working on it, and then you reach it. It's no, I was reaching David Goggins. There's no winning in life. There's no winning. It's just continually working and building up, and keep working and keep working, doing the things that you love. It's yeah, I think that's really cool. So that's good that you have the community that you can reach out,
Yeah.
because I think it's definitely lonely if you start a business all by yourself as well. Like, so you have a community and mentor. I think that's really really good. That's something I should need to consider as well. So that's cool. So that's so when it comes to, so you're using the community to energize yourself and get motivated.
Yeah.
Like, what's the through life we're always going to be learning something that's always sticking in the back of our head that we learned, and then we will always remember, and then we think back on it. What advice that life advice, a lesson that you learned to now, that you can share to people that who's really who's afraid, and then now wanting to step out of their comfort zone, maybe start their own business, or coaching, or a different career path, just somebody who wants to change their life? What would you have for them?
Yeah. So I know that I think a lot of times I was actually given the advice of following my dreams or following my passion. So while I believe that it's very important to be passionate in what you're doing, I think it's also equally important to actually have a purpose as to why you're doing what you're doing. And I think being passionate in your work or in your career or side hustle, whatever it is, that's very, very important. But I would actually pair it with a purpose that serves you, a purpose that has your vision and mission in it. And you feel energized when you actually think about your purpose and whom is it serving. So it could be maybe a coach, or maybe you're setting up a business venture, and if always, let's say you've always liked doing something related to fashion or food or whatever it is that you're really passionate about. But I think it's also about having that business vision or purpose of what you are here for. Because I think every single person out there, a lot of people, they want to be like dancers or singers or anything that they're passionate about. And I think a lot of people have like a million passions, but I think it's important to zero in on something and to really have that single-minded vision of doing it, because I think ultimately what's going to carry it forward is also about having that strategic mindset. And that sort of thing can only be fueled if you have a purpose to work towards, and it's fueled and driven by passion. And I think if you were to just do something simply because you're passionate about it and you don't exactly have like a strategy in place, then you'll be like all over the place and
Mm,
it's very difficult to catch you because the
mm,
mind is like they say, right? It's like a monkey mind. So it keeps running here and there, and it's very important to stay centered. So
mm.
I think that's what's been helping me, because when I first started my business, like, it's pretty new still, and I've still, there's a lot to learn every single day as well. But I feel that this is what is helping me at this point in time. And yeah.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a great advice to hone in into the passion and skills you have. I don't think it's also when you spend so much time honing on a certain skills. Do you think it's also a strength or weakness? Like this is you go in there, you decide maybe this is not what I want. But you know how people um, change their mind when they hone into something. They said, well, there's going to be limitations on what you can do. If
Yeah.
they change their mind and decide to do something, is that what are your thoughts about that? Is that a strength or weakness? Is it something that's okay to do when you do give something really passionate about, but you fail? What?
Yeah, so I think, like, let's say, for instance, for some people, they might be moving jobs. So maybe one job, it didn't fit into what they are like, what they actually like doing,
Mm,
and they might be moving to another role. So the thing is that it's actually okay to keep moving. It's okay to keep shifting and doing different things.
mm,
But I think it also boils down to ultimately, what exactly are you looking at? Your overarching purpose. So this is actually a little bit different from goals,
mm,
because a lot of people would say that, okay, goals, when I ask about purpose, they would actually be telling me more to do with their goals. So a goal has got like a certain metric to it, and maybe there's a little bit of a timeline to when you
mm,
want to achieve your goal.
mm,
But for a purpose, it's a little bit more deeper than that. So that's why I think you need to invest a little bit of time in doing some soul search as well. Because
yeah.
if you are moving from one job to another and you feel that you're not really getting what you want, so that means there is obviously something that's missing.
Mm, mm,
And let's say, if your purpose is to actually help people, so now we know that that's the overarching purpose, but help people can also be a really broad concept.
mm, mm.
And helping people can be in so many different ways. I mean, someone can actually even be a clown and, help people in like laughter therapy or something, right?
Yeah.
So it really depends on what exactly you want. So then you have to match your personal values with the purpose that you have,
Mm,
and look at all the existing skills that you have that would actually help you move towards that. And
mm,
if you don't have those skills or strengths, what can you do to, maybe train yourself or educate yourself depending on what you want to do? And
mm,
then you can, slowly start to map it out. So I think having a little bit of a systematic approach
mm.
definitely helps. And of course, along the way, enjoying the journey. Yeah.
Mm, yes, yes, that's a definitely good message for for the viewers there. I think what you say is right. Like most of us, to go through soul searching, we got to go through some sort of trials and it's like challenges that we face. That that we realize that how people that go through car crashes and then they realize that drink driving it's bad. Then they go out, they find a purpose to like go to school and start doing some awareness, etc. I think that's important part. Like we go through like when we reach to that point where there's something hit us, and then realize this is what I'm meant to do because I don't want to be I want to help people like you say. And now I've been through that experience. I have the knowledge and the stories I can share, and hopefully help others. With I think that's really important. Most people don't realize that. To like when it comes to success for you, what is success for you? Is it money, time? What is it? What do you clarify is a success for you to say that I'm at a stage where this is success? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So I think over a decade ago, I guess my definition of success was really very, very in the abstract terms of like, okay, if I achieved my goal X, Y, Z, and I'm at this position, that means I have achieved something, and that is success to me. But I think over the years, I've also gone through several, life experiences and all of that. And I feel that right now, what I feel is success to me is when I still feel like abundant in terms of my mindset, in terms of my growth mindset. So no matter what challenges I'm getting, I'm actually looking at every challenge as an opportunity to grow and to learn. And that to me is what defines success, because I think success really stops when you stop growing and you think that, oh, I have actually done enough, I've attained enough, and ego starts coming in. So success is absence of ego, and there's always that growth mindset for me, and I feel abundant when I actually think about that. So that's really where I would define success.
Yeah, I love that method when you say, when you look at challenges and you use it as a way to grow, right? It's it took me a long time to
Yeah,
realize this obstacles is
yeah,
they're meant to teach me something. It took me a long time to realize that. It's 4 years ago or something along that line. And now look at, like you said, most people don't realize the thing is an obstacle, and they're like, oh fuck, I'm not going to go over. I'd rather turn back and find alternatives. They don't want to face the obstacle, but they don't realize that. Like so it's like, for example, you're like me. I used to be like just happy going to work with no challenges, taking the easy way out. Most of us don't realize this obstacle. It just is there to make us stronger. It's
yeah,
crazy. Like
yeah,
once we realize that, you
yeah,
can you can become so much. Like you said, growth mindset. You keep growing. That's if you realize that you keep growing, that's the success. The success is you, basically what you're
yeah.
saying. It's you who you are as a person. You continue to grow. I think that's a beautiful message that like everybody needs to really see obstacles itself.
Thank
I
you.
like that. If let's say that if like you're looking back at your life, like for example, your dad died 2 years ago. Just mishaps, just really crazy things that's going on to your life. Looking back, if you can change some things in your life or circumstances, like with a magic wand, for example, what would you change? What is your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I guess, of course, definitely one, it'd be great if my dad is still around physically. And I mean, I think barring that, I guess life and death sometimes is not always within our control. I believe in a higher force, divinity, whatever you call it. So I think aside from that, I would say that I wouldn't really want to change anything. In fact, I'm actually really glad to be in my 30s right now. I think the 20s was like a blurry stage for me because like I said, I mean, like I totally resonate with you when you mentioned just now that it took you a long time to really understand what obstacles would actually mean for you and grow from that, because it has actually taken me a long time just to move past that. And I'm really thankful to be where I am at right now. But I'm also thankful that, in a way, I went through some of those blurry experiences, or maybe some of them unpleasant. But I think they really strengthened my inner resolve. They just made me more resilient. So it was very difficult for me at that point in time when I was going through that experience or anything. But I think moving past that, it has actually made me, I think, more resilient and made me appreciate life in general, I think. So, yeah, I think that's really what I'll be grateful for.
Yeah,
I guess if I really have to change, it would, yeah, probably be my dad coming back. I
yeah,
think
yeah,
it'd be
yeah,
great.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that would be a different story, though, isn't it? Like, would you be if your dad did come up? Would you move to Melbourne? Would your whole life would be? It's like a different alternative kind of like storyline, isn't it? But yeah, I don't think most people wouldn't change the way they are. I reckon if you're grateful, like you said, all those challenges in your 20s, the blurry stages, those are who made you are today. And most people wouldn't want to change it. And there's
Yeah.
other people who continue to complain, their upbringing. I want to change this. Like my brother, I told him many times, my second brother is, I'm the first. He's like, my dad didn't teach me this, my dad didn't teach us that, but like
Mm.
they did all they can. It's not
Yeah.
their fault. They don't
Yeah.
come up with like we're refugees. We didn't come up with like normal other people who understand English and teach you stuff. You got
Yeah.
to do what you can.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's other people who are worse than you, and then
Yeah.
you complaining. It's just do what you can and then
Mm.
improve yourself. No one's stopping you. You can be a
Yeah.
doctor if you wanted to.
Exactly.
It's just like, yeah. It's that the whole point of this podcast is basically decide for like everyday people, whether you're a minority, color people. It's more like to see that we are going out there, we're doing something about it and pursuing the passion, whether it's things that we love, and then just creating the lifestyle that
Yeah.
works for us. So I definitely appreciate you coming over, Ramya, to discuss about your journey and really also just influence the young people as well within their 20s or 30s to really give it a go, because at the end of the day, it's not really
Yeah.
something you can't really lose in this game
Yeah.
of life. But yeah, I
Yeah.
appreciate your time coming in with me.
My pleasure. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me over. Yeah. I really,
Yeah.
really appreciate that. I think, as you mentioned, I think everything in life is a journey. So
Mm,
it definitely takes time, and it's not always easy. So that's why I do understand. Like, and one thing that I always would advise to anyone is that coaching is definitely not a replacement, or it shouldn't be taken like as a substitute for someone who actually has certain mental health issues that need to
mm,
be addressed by a
mm.
professional, because a
Yeah.
coach is not a therapist. So
Yeah.
that's one of the misconceptions that some people might have.
Mm,
So coaches, we ask certain powerful questions, and we like to keep focusing on the future, like
mm,
what you can do right now to move towards the future. But
mm,
for a therapist, it's a little bit different. So obviously, I mean, if someone has certain mental health issues that need to be addressed, yeah, do
mm,
go through the professional
mm.
channels of support. And yeah, I think this is really pertinent, and the show that you're doing is amazing, and you're also a mental health advocate as well, and I really respect and admire the work that you're doing. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right.
Yeah.
I'll see you next time for sure.
Yeah, definitely. We'll be in
Yeah.
touch. That's for
Awesome.
sure.
Thank
Yeah.
you,
Thanks
Ram.
for
Yeah.
having me over.
No problem. Bye.
Yeah, bye.